wasn't round? What if the silence had a sound? What if we took our paradigms and flipped them upside down? What if we made room for us all? What if we wouldn't let you fall? What if we wore our bodies like the splendor that they are? What if we synthesize? What if we integrate? What if we energize? What if we liberate? Oh, gracious spirit of the universe, rise up like the sun. We've got some questions and we need divine direction. Help us to believe it's still to come, still to come, still to come. A better day is still to come. What if? What if? What if love could heal the violence? What if she gave voice to the silenced? What if we let her blessings flow across this sea of broken hearts? Illuminate the broken sparks with love. What if we could heal the violence? What if we gave voice to the silenced? What if we let our blessings flow across the sea of broken hearts? Illuminate the broken sparks with love. Come on, sing love with us. Oh, gracious spirit of the universe, rise up like the sun. We've got some questions and we need divine direction. Help us to believe. Help us to believe. Oh, gracious spirit of the universe, rise up like the sun. We've got some questions and we need divine protection. Help us to believe. Help us to believe it's still to come, still to come, still to come. A better day is still to come, still to come, still to come. A better life is still to come, still to come, still to come. A better world is still to come. In the beginning, there was the Tao. The Tao is the source of all things, physical, non-physical, and it is the place of creation where all things begin, in the Tao. It's often associated with a feminine force because the Tao is creative, it is receptive, it is filled with loving kindness and compassion.
When I was 18, I wanted to get a tattoo. And at 14, I had left my church of origin, and I had studied all different religions, and I loved Taoism. And so when I turned 18, I had a good friend, and we were going on a walk. And we were walking by a tattoo shop, and he said, "Let's get a tattoo." And I said, "Okay." And then I went into the tattoo shop, and I thought, what is something that I could have tattooed on my body that I would like for the rest of my life? You know, quick decision. And so I got a yin-yang tattooed on my body. Now, the yin-yang is a circle, and it's got kind of a little swish in the middle, and part of the circle is black, and part of it is white, and in the white part, there's a little dot of black, and the black part, there's a little dot of white, and it's called the yin-yang, and it's the symbol of Taoism. And I wanted to get that symbol because it represents all of life, that there is balance and harmony in life. There's light and dark. There is this active and receptive way of being. And it's a reminder that everything has a flow. It's not a straight line, it's a flow to it. And a little bit of the light is contained in the darkness, and a little bit of the darkness is contained in the light. And I loved that idea. And I'm grateful I got it, but I'm not grateful that I got it for like $50 on a guy who probably didn't know how to do tattoos very well, because everybody thinks I have dolphins tattooed on me instead of a yin-yang, but you know, it's okay. I like dolphins too, they're awesome, but the dots kind of, yeah. So I love the Tao. One of the Taoist texts is the Tao Te Ching. It was written by Lao Tzu. And he writes about the importance of living in harmony with the Tao. And he speaks to the divine feminine aspect. He says, the highest good is like water. Water benefits all things without contending with them. It flows in places people reject and settles where they avoid. Therefore, it is near to the Tao. So when we tune in to the divine feminine, it's not about competition or conflict. It's about being in the flow, being in harmony with what's going on. And I wanted to speak about the divine feminine today because I grew up in a religion that really taught about God as He, and it was a very male-centric version. And not that the divine feminine is a female-centric version, because it's not. That's what I'm here to bring you today, is this idea that the divine feminine resides in all of us, regardless of our gender. And so does the sacred masculine. And that's what the Tao Te Ching was trying to express to people, is that within us, we have all of those components. That there's a perfect harmony when we're tuned in to the flow of life that works in our life in a way that serves us. But because I was brought up in a place where I learned a lot more about the sacred masculine than I learned about the divine feminine, I thought I would tell you a little bit about the divine feminine so maybe you could learn to embrace it as well. The yin. The yin is the divine feminine. It's a powerful force in Taoism. It represents creativity, compassion, receptive aspects. It is a reminder that we're all connected with each other and with nature. And the yang is about being the sacred masculine, and that they're counterpoints of each other, where one is creative, the other one is logical, where one is receptive, the other one is active. where one is compassionate, the other one is empowering. And all of those aspects are really important for each and every one of us to tune into our beingness. I wanted to pick this on Mother's Day, and I know there's a lot of people either love Mother's Day or they hate Mother's Day, or there's a lot of confusion around Mother's Day because some people had not so happy relationships with their mothers, and some people had really good relationships with their mothers. I was super blessed, am super blessed. I have had a wonderful relationship with my mom, and she was one of those great people. She has always supported me my entire life. As a matter of fact, she has been behind all of the successful things I've ever done in my life. She has been there no matter what. She's probably watching right now. Hi, Mom. She lives in New Mexico, so she doesn't live here. But not all people had that experience with their mothers. Some people didn't know their mothers. Some people had very challenging or difficult mothers. Not everybody was born to know how to mother. And not all mothers were really tuned in to that, or maybe they did a better job as they got more kids and they figured it out. That's how it goes sometimes. Fortunately, my mom is like the earth mama. She's like, she wanted to be a mom when she was born. You know, she had little dolls. She wanted to take care of people, and she does that really well. As a matter of fact, she adopts my friends. If you see her here, you don't have a mom and she's visiting, she'll adopt you. She likes being everybody's mom. And that's a beautiful thing. I did not get the mother gene, just saying, but I do have cats, so I am a cat mother. I will claim that. So, but I'm wondering, what can we do on this day to honor the sacred feminine? Some of you may be honoring your mothers, but maybe if you have a challenging relationship, what if you took this day as a day to honor the sacred feminine within you? What if you did that? Carly Stevens said, "The rise of the divine feminine does not have to be at the expense of the sacred masculine. They're both needed for balance and harmony in ourselves and in the world." Now, the sacred feminine is in all different religions. Kuan Yin of Buddhism, the goddesses of Hinduism, paganism. We've got the Mary, Jesus' mother, Mary Magdalene, Jesus' partner in life. There's all kinds of aspects of the divine feminine in different religious organizations where they honor and uplift these ideals that we can embody. So the first thing I'd love for you to do today, as an invitation, if you want to take this on, is to cultivate balance and harmony in your life. Just like that yin-yang, to allow yourself to be noticing if you're in balance or not. Just evaluate your life. Is my life in balance right now? Do I feel like there's harmony going on? Well, what else can I do to balance it? Ask yourself, how can I balance my intuition with logic? How can I be receptive without being passive and steamrolled? How can I be active without being aggressive? How can I nurture my creativity and not neglect my productivity? This is all about balance and harmony. How can I cooperate with others without losing my individuality? How can a both and be living in my life? So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, which is a very tuned in way of being, is to be instead of do. To be first. To allow yourself to be tuned in to your intuition, to the subtleties of life, to the creativity that's flowing within you. Allow yourself to pause before you take action on something. Any new endeavor, and this is something I'm learning more and more. I'm really grateful. I work with an amazing, I'm sure you know, some of you know the staff. wow, what a great group of people. And one of the things that I'm really good at, and so is Kathy Ann, is ideas. It's like, yes. And sometimes the ideas come and it's like, let's do this new thing, and let's do this new thing. And then we all, as in the whole staff, we all jump in and do it, and we're still doing all of our other things. And then there is like this kind of a, I don't know, frizzling out, little overwhelm. And what I've learned in the last couple of years, and maybe COVID kind of brought some of this too about, is instead of diving in and doing, let's step back and take some time to be with it. Let's see how this fits in with the flow. Let's see if we can make it move and groove in a way that works with all the other parts that are happening at the same time. And I can tell you, it has worked a lot better for me. So cultivate balance and harmony in your life. The next thing I'd love for you to do, or I'd like to invite you, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but think about it. Well, what about listening to your intuition? What would happen if you listened to your intuition? I love this idea. There's a Jewish aspect of the divine feminine. It's called the Shekinah. And it means the indwelling or the presence of God. It's the aspect of God that indwells within the people and the world. And it manifests as the infinite grace, love, and compassion in the world. And there's a story of the Shekinah in Judaism. And it happened when the Israelites were leaving Egypt. And according to the Torah, as the Israelites left Egypt, God instructed them. They first received the 10 Commandments, and then God instructed them to build a portable sanctuary for God to live amongst them. And so they did. They were traveling in Egypt in the desert for 40 years. And what they would do is they would build a tabernacle. They called it. They built a tabernacle. And in the sanctuary, it would be kind of like the inner sanctum. And they would have prayers and places for people to pray and worship. And it's said that the Shekinah would come and lay itself upon the tabernacle. And within it would dwell God's glory and light and presence. And then, as soon as that presence left, it was a clue to leave the area. And so there was both an internal and an external clue on when to pause and when to go. And I really appreciate that story because it reminds me of times in my life where I've listened to that call. There was one time when I first became a minister, I went on this adventure. I was a member of the San Jose Center for Spiritual Living, by the way. So I lived in San Jose, California. I went on this adventure. I got this call to go on this adventure with Kathy Ann and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle community. And we went to Peru. And Dawn was on that trip. We went to Peru together. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why I was called. But I just became a minister in August, and the trip was in November. I mean, it was just a few months later. And as I went on that trip, I had this experience of losing my human fears, worries, doubts, all of that. I had a tuning into that divine aspect of myself that is the truth of my beingness. And in that, I had a vision of myself as a spiritual director, as a senior minister. And I came home And I talked to Kathy Ann about it, and she said, oh, you know what? I'll support that vision. You should ask your minister to support that vision too. And I was like, okay. All right, I'll try that out. And so I did. I went home and I talked to David in the San Jose community, and they said, yeah, we'll support you. You can start your own center. And I did. I founded my own center. And this is the weird thing though. So I had talked about it. I came back in November. I was TAing, that's a teacher assistant. I was TAing a class, and I told David about it. David calls me out in class. There's like 80 people in the class. He's like, hey, Abigail's going to start her own center, everybody. And I'm like, oh gosh. Woo. Now he's made it public. And he said, when are you going to start? And I said, August of next year. And so he said, great, August of next year. Now, as I went through San Jose and I was serving and I was doing all of these things, as I got closer to that August date, some doors started closing. It was not an intentional thing, but as I was working in that community, things started not working for me. I mean, it just people who included me in meetings accidentally forgot to include me in meetings, and like all of these things kept happening. And then I knew it was the infinite universe's way of telling me, it's time to go. It's time to fly out of that nest, little birdie, and get out. And as soon as I went over and started my own center, everything started flowing and working for me. Has that ever happened to you? Like you're at a job and you're like trying to do the job. Your heart is not in that job anymore. But all of a sudden things start getting worse. I wonder if it's the universe saying, you know, maybe there's someplace else for you to be. Maybe it's time to go somewhere else because there's a bigger call for you. There's someplace else for you to go. It's like the cloud is lifted. Time to go. And so I wonder if you could use that idea of the Shekinah working in your life. Are you noticing when you're being called to a new adventure? Are you curious about what's going on instead of being angry? What is going on? No, it's like, why are all my doors closing? Well, why are all your doors closing? Maybe there's something else. I invite you into that sense of curiosity, of asking, instead of moving immediately into anger, more into the questioning of it. There are ways for you to increase your intuition. This is about listening to your own inner guidance. One of the things that you can do is you can meditate. That's a great way to tune to your intuition. You can ask a question and then just meditate. Labyrinths are great for this too. That's a walking labyrinth. It's so wonderful. You ask a question at the beginning of the labyrinth, you walk and you hang out in the center of the labyrinth until you get the answer. When you get it, then you walk away. Another way to be tuned into your intuition is paying attention to your body. Your body often knows before you know. I was in a relationship before my wife, and we were together. Actually, it was in foundations class. We were in foundations class together. And I just had this knot in my stomach. I had a knot in my stomach, and it was there. And my prayer was to figure out what the knot was. My prayer was like, okay, infinite great creator, I would love the clarity to figure out what this knot is. And turns out that person, she and I, were not meant to be together. And as soon as we had made the decision not to be with each other, the knot went away. And I was like, oh my God, I knew before I knew. I knew before I knew. So pay attention to your body. It might be telling you things, and you might not be paying attention to it. Another way you can increase your intuition is by asking yourself questions. This monthly theme is life goes better with curiosity. What if? What if there's something greater out there for me? What if there's another possibility? What if it could be even better than I'm currently experiencing? What if the divine is guiding you every day? The third thing I want to invite you to consider is by being open to a bigger idea of possibility for your life. Be open to a bigger idea for your life. Now, imagine a young Jewish mother. Let's call her Mary. Mary was engaged with this really cool guy. His name's Joseph. He was a carpenter. A very sweet, kind man. And she was super excited about being married. She wasn't married yet. She was only engaged to this amazing man. And before her wedding, she's just walking along, hanging out in Nazareth, her hometown. She's just like, having a great day, imagining all of the wedding plans, planning for the wedding, just looking forward to her new life with her husband. And as she's walking along, this huge beam of light comes down in front of her, and it is a golden, glorious man with wings, an angel, Gabriel, there to talk to her. Now, I don't know what you would do, but if I saw an angel in real life, it would be pretty freaking like, what? And that's pretty much probably what she did. She was like, oh. And he's like, no, it's okay. It's all right. And she said, I think, did I eat a weird plant? Did I do something odd? And Gabriel's like, no, you are blessed and highly favored. The great creator God itself is showering its blessings upon you. You have a great life destiny. And Mary's like, I have plans for my life, And Gabriel says, you will bear a son. And this son will be the embodiment of the way. He will be a Wayshower. No, we're not in the Mandalorian. We're in the story of the ancient story of Yeshua, Jesus' mother. And he's like, this guy, you're going to be the mother of somebody who will bring a whole new era to creation. We pick you. We, the infinite, the all that is, pick you as the bearer of something magnificent in this world. And she was kind of shocked, a little scared. She didn't know what that meant. But also, there was something in her that knew the rightness of it. But also, she had other plans. But isn't that life sometimes? Life is what happens when we're busy making plans. She recognized that maybe there was a bigger idea for her life than she had planned. And I just wonder if maybe that's true for all of you here. Maybe I am going one direction, and sometimes life says, hey, well, to me, hey, would you like to be a minister? Like, huh? It's so good, but it's so different than what I had originally planned. So what if there's a bigger call for your life? What if you're meant to do something that is for the enhancement of the world? Now, it doesn't have to be big as in you're the mother of, Yeshua, the Wayshower, but maybe it's big in whatever else. sometimes it's big in just one person's life, and it makes a big difference. But each and every one of us has to be open to that kind of call. Like, what would you do if you were visited by an angel? What would you do if the infinite great creator said, you are chosen for a special purpose? Would you say, oh, heck no? Or would you tentatively say, okay, all right, we'll try this on? How would you react? What would you do? So I wonder if we can tune into that idea that each and every one of us has a great call. And maybe it's not what we think it is, or maybe it is. Maybe we've already answered that call and we're already tuned in. I have two friends who are ministers, and they're both music ministers, and they thought the call was going to be doing one thing, which was going to be like having their own community or something like that. But it turned out their call was actually to start their own music ministry, and they go traveling from community to community to community, and they get to, RV and like visit the entire world, well, not the world, the United States, as part of their ministry. And it's super cool, but it wasn't what they had thought it was going to be. It's something completely different for them. So I wonder if you'd be open to that as well. 1, to embrace the divine feminine. Cultivate balance and harmony in your life. 2, listen to your intuition. And 3, be open to a bigger idea of possibility for your life. I'd like to do a quick little meditation with you right here. So I want you to just go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths and center yourself. And I want you to visualize a beautiful, radiant light that is shining from your inside out. Let's call it the divine feminine. It is a nurturing, caring, creative energy. It is the source of all life. And as you bask in the divine light, ask yourself, am I willing to be loved, nurtured, and supported by the divine feminine within me? And ask, am I willing to trust intuition and creativity within me and allow them to guide my life? And ask, am I open to a greater possibility of my life? Am I willing to see a bigger idea that maybe I had planned? And if you are, go ahead and place your hands over your heart and say, I love you. I bless you. I accept you. Thank you, Divine Mother. And so it is. Let's pray. Kuan Yin, Sophia, Inanna, Kali, Mary. O Holy One, the Divine Mother of my heart and my soul, I am here to be used as a place where love and light show up. I recognize and know that this perfect harmony, the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, are at perfect harmony in my life. And so today I declare is a day of union, coming together in union, communion, in community, as I recognize and know that that divine force for love is making this world a place where peace and harmony show up, that this world is a place where I awaken to my own good. This place is a place where I awaken to this idea that I am birthing new creation, that creation is birthing through me, as me. And I know that today I honor it. I honor the big creator, the big mama, and I honor the internal mama, the nurturer. I honor the ground, the earth, Pachamama, Gaia. I honor the yin, and I honor that expression of sweetness, of peace, of harmony, and of love. Because today is the day for that truth to be embodied, to be expressed, and to be fully realized in a way that supports this world. And so I celebrate that truth today, forever, and always. I am so grateful, and so it is. Thank you.